think that it'll be easier because there's only 3 medallions that you need to pull the Triforce from the pedestal. But progression items can be anywhere, and that includes Ganon's Tower. So, there is a scenario or two in which the runners would have to complete every single crystal dungeon to get access to Ganon's Tower to go rooting around through chests to try to find, say an ice rod if they need to do a pendant, a turtle rock, for instance.
Yeah, that's one of the trickier things that we could see. It looks like Eastern Palace is our only crystal, so Desert and Tower of Hera both pendants.
That could be good, but there's also quite a few required items for both of those dungeons. So, depending on where the bow is, for instance, this could be interesting.
Well, Tower of Hera means we need Mirror Moon Pearl. Desert means either one of the book or flute. Looks like the escape gives us the cape from the chest after the uncle. Looks like Yulo Ninja finding a blue safety vest, a shovel in, looks like the Kakariko well.
Yeah, a few potential fetch quests getting set up already.
Or no, excuse me, that was the Lost Woods.
Getting some digging going on. Nice bomb pickup there for Yulo Ninja.
And since they just kind of threw us in cold turkey, I'm going to take a second here. We have our runners today are Calvin 919 in the green corner, Digidude 22 in the blue corner, Yulo Ninja in the red corner, and Unfit in the yellow corner.
And the runners are making their way. Everyone's taking a similar route going east toward Kakariko from... I think did everybody start in the sanctuary? No, we saw a couple people pop their head into Hyrule Castle dungeon.
Everybody started from Link's house. Took the chest there. I think a couple of the runners ran into part of Hyrule, but then the others went straight to Sanctuary.
Now, Yulo Ninja kind of getting a good early find of that fire rod. Nice to have a source of fire early in the seed.
Oh, and it can also double for a weapon. Since it is open, there's no reason to do the escape aside from check the uncle, which I believe had 20 rupees, and the runners who have the cape are the ones that dipped into Hyrule Castle because the chest after the uncle was where the cape was.
And open means that they don't start with a sword or a shield. They are just walking around in Hyrule with nothing but their fists and their wits. So getting that fire rod is nice. Give you the opportunity to do a little bit of damage if you need to.
And it also gives you the option of starting in the sanctuary as if you were to have already completed the escape sequence. But you don't get any of the items that you would have picked up along the way were you to have played the game normally.
So if something's buried, say in that dark cross in the way between the Hyrule Castle and the Sanctuary and the sewers there, that's an annoying little trek to have to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're seeing a medallion pickup here too from a couple of our runners, which is kind of interesting. They can't use it yet because you need a sword to be able to, I guess, spin appropriately to activate the medallion.
Yes, but it could be relevant. It's an ether medallion. One of the potential entry points to Misery Mire and or Turtle Rock, or it could be completely useless, as we may not even need to go into either. As it stands right now, there's a 2 in 7 chance that a medallion would even be needed to go into Misery Mire or Turtle Rock for the final pendant.
Now, we've got an early bottle here, which has allowed our runners to go and check in with the sick kid. Turned out to be a rich kid. He had 300 rupees stashed under his pillow. So thanks for that.
You know, it's not nice to take his Tooth Fairy money. Probably had a tooth pulled, sitting there. Tooth Fairy visits him, and then Link's like, "Give me your money."
I don't know. I want to know the Tooth Fairy that gives you $300 for a tooth because, in that case, I got a few to spare.
It may or may not have been made of gold. I can't confirm this rumor, however.
Fair. Seeing what our shovel gives us, Shovel's just giving us a bit of love. Doesn't hurt this early on in the run. Actually, you'll see most of our runners have different skins, and we also have different colors for hearts. A couple of yellow hearts and blue hearts. Nobody going with the classic red.
They should really try to synchronize the color of the hearts with the corner that they're in. Ooh. I believe all 4 of those colors are available.
We could totally demand that, right? That's a reasonable demand.
Like, it would, just for aesthetic purposes.
I agree. Seeing a couple of folks heading down into South Hyrule now, see what's in the, what do you call this place? The water dam?
Yeah, it is the dam.
The dam.
So it's usually a question to, if you pick up the chest first, pop your head back out, open the dam to see what's in the outside. Mm-hmm. Or if you, open up the outside, see what's there, then come back in to open the chest.
I always like having the mirror so you can glitch through those blocks, make them disappear, and just do it both in one shot.
Yeah, I guess the mirror not showing up early, 20 rupees in the bottom of the dam, but that early bottle paying off for Hyrule Ninja. That bee's going to do some work on these mini Moldorms.
Yeah, oh, got 3 of them. Good job, bee. Thanks for your service.
Oh, and just catches the last one with the bomb.
Yeah, that was close.
So let's see. Oh, that looks like a pointy stick and some powder for Hyrule Ninja.
Yeah, that is nice.
So it looks like we're starting to get some items underway. It looks like Hyrule Ninja's headed into the escape sequence. Unfit looks to be headed toward the Agina's cave. And that's a hookshot hiding in Agina's cave.
Hookshot. That is, it's nice, especially when you're kind of early on, you don't have a sword or a very good sword.
It's definitely a weapon, but I want to temper my expectation on the hook shot, just because part of it is we don't know what the final dungeon we need to go into will be for the pedestal. It could either be something we absolutely need, or something we absolutely can do without. Mm-hmm. It's one of those, alright, it's one of 2 extremes.
Yeah, it's so early to know now. We only have knowledge of 3 of the total, how many? 10 potential dungeons? The 3 pedestals and the 7 crystal dungeons?
Correct. But, the big piece of information that we need right now, as Calvin goes into the Ice Rod Cave, it looks like we just need to figure out what the last pendant dungeon actually is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where the opportunity for some trolling could happen. If it's Thieves' Town, they can complete that dungeon with only a sword, if there's no other particular items that they need to get within it. But, I guess they need the glove. That's one thing.
Correct.
Do they need it, or can they get around it?
Well, we would need the glove to get into the Dark World.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't get into Thieves' Town without getting into the Dark World.
Right.
So the items you need, for the Dark World, you need some combination of items to be able to get into the Dark World.
Mm-hmm.
So that means probably a glove or a hammer, at minimum, are going to be needed. And we know with Tower of Hera, we're going to need a mirror. Desert Palace, we know we need the flute or the book.
We could have a scenario in which we would need to make our way into the Dark World by killing Aghanim and creating a portal that way, which could potentially sidestep the need for a glove. We would need to find the lamp and the moon pearl before that would be a potential route for our runners, though.
And, well, we have the cape, so that's one way through.
Mm-hmm.
The Master Sword being a second.
For just a second, I thought Calvin was gonna take a peek in there, but without the lamp, it's hard to make a lot of headway. I don't know anybody who loves doing those dark rooms, although it's very possible that some of our runners are comfortable doing even those dark rooms going up Aghanim's tower.
Well, I believe the lantern is in the escape sequence.
It is. I'm seeing it there only on one of our runners' screens right now, which is kind of interesting.
As Yulo Ninja checks up on Sahasrala's closet, as well as Unfit, both finding a second bottle, but not much else aside from that.
Probably heading east. Gonna take a peek in Eastern Palace, where they can pretty much do the whole front part of the dungeon without the bow. Might as well.
Yeah, it feels like there's not much else to do, so why not?
Why not?
I mean, the only other thing I could think of is with a couple of the runners having more than 500 rupees. Oh, Calvin, getting a little brave on us here. He's going straight for the Aghanim 1 play.
I mean, it's an interesting play. Once you defeat Aghanim without the Moon Pearl, you basically just turn into whatever your Dark World sprite is. For a regular Link, it'll be a bunny, but for these different sprites, it could be a variety of different things. But you'd only really have access to one item, which is what's sitting on the pyramid, so that could be the Moon Pearl. But if it's not, that might have been a bit of a gamble, so we'll see.
Well, that's very true, but, sometimes it pays off. If something's on the pyramid ledge, it's just, all right, 200 IQ play, absolutely brilliant. If nothing's on the ledge, then you're just back to, all right, what do I do now? I guess I have 600 rupees? Zora?
Mm-hmm.
So, given the two options, it's like, do I go all the way over to Zora or attempt escape?
Yeah, both totally valid choices. And then, it's not as though it doesn't come with any benefits. It does give you another way into the Dark World, which could be convenient depending on when you find the Moon Pearl, if you find it earlier than later.
And it looks like we've got a hint on the digging game from Yulo Ninja.
Mm-hmm.
If I saw that correctly, it looked like a piece of heart could be dug up.
Yep, probably not worth your time.
Chat saying it's the flute spot hint.
I see. The two possible dig spots of this of this run.
So this will be very interesting. I guess with the logic being changed, the crystal dungeons are not really needed to be completed, so we may not see a bow very soon, if at all, because of Eastern Palace being a crystal. It may as well just be, junk.
Speaking of junk, we're going to see what's in the big chest in Eastern Palace here. And junk.
So all of the items in Eastern Palace, unfortunately, a amount to a pile of garbage, it seems. So it looks like our runners really have two things open to them. The Ognum fight, which Calvin is about to start, and it looks like Yulo Ninja's headed that way as well, as with Unfit. It looks like that's where our runners are going. Yep, but this almost feels like, all right, this has got to be a Zora play, even if just the fake flippers.
Yeah, if there's nothing on this ledge that really kind of blows everything up, then that's definitely where we're headed.
I mean, there's so few things. I think you mentioned the Dark Cross previously. That's about the only other thing I can think of that's actively in logic, since Eastern Palace was accessible but had nothing of value in it.
We don't have any way to get up to Death Mountain just yet. Once we do, we can get access to a fair bit of stuff by way of the hook shot, which is kind of nice.
Potentially the 3 chests in Escape as well. Chat bringing that up, and I don't think any of the runners had gone into that area, so...
No, probably not, because they had... Well, I guess you can, if you get the lamp in Escape, you can then head back through if you've got the key, but I don't think anybody has that key to get into that... Well,
here we go. Here's the moment of truth for the pyramid, at least. Oh, that's a bow.
Hey, oh my. Well, well, well.
Don't save an... Oh, come on. Map check first, Calvin.
We don't need to know where anything is. Oh, something was in Super Bunny Cave. Well, let's see. A unique item in Super Bunny Cave. What does that hint mean? Do you know?
That a unique item is in Super Bunny Cave. The 2 chests. Anything that's basically on the tracker or a single arrow.
Oh, that's mean. That includes the single arrow.
That is correct. It is a unique item.
It's true. Does it include that single rupee, or there's 2 green rupees, right?
The single rupee is not a unique item.
Yeah, maybe if there's exactly 2 of them, then it could mean that.
So, chat bringing it up as well. Armos has an item on them. So, the bow... So, Ognum into the bow, which forces you into a crystal dungeon to try to find something that'll allow you into a pendant dungeon.
Yes, this is what Open Pedestal can do.
So Unfit is in the back of Escape at this point, so we're going to see what the 3 chests are finally. Piece of Heart, strike 1. Bombo, strike 2. And a key, strike 3.
I think I saw somebody mention that the glove was in that Dark Cross.
Well, that would put Unfit a moon pearl away from Dark World access. Or am I mistaken something?
Looks like Unfit's heading up to probably Death Mountain, but maybe checking to see what's in this cave first.
Yeah, this is Lumberjack Cave check. Another potential benefit of Ognum, that looks like a piece of heart, so we're not going to have an Ognum requirement based off of that.
Yeah, at this point, we don't even know if we're going to need the boots. We haven't had anybody run into them yet.
The pyramid has the bow. which Calvin found by defeating Ognum already. And he is now working his way through Eastern Palace, which I believe is the only thing in logic at this point. So this would likely have to give him the Moon Pearl by deduction of taking the Hyrule castle entrance into the Dark World. And it looks like we got our wish. Turtle Rock is the last pendant.
Huh.
So,
my.
Ganon's Tower Ice Rod, anyone?
I mean, as the exact scenario that, is is the most trolly of possible scenarios, I kind of want it to happen now.
Well, did you think this was going to be easy? Just finish 3 palaces and pull a pedestal and be done with? Oh, I don't think so.
It can be.
Did you not realize who you're commentating with just yet?
Oh, no.
I mean, if I'm doing commentary, it just has to be a fiesta.
Some cash in Mimic Cave. I like the hints. I've got to say, it's. I think it's a good evolution of this randomizer.
Yeah, the hints are actually pretty good. But this also, I'm trying to follow along with the logic of the game and what it wants, the runners to do, and I'm just so lost right now.
Well, I'm glad we're seeing somebody go into Death Mountain, because there's a lot of chests up here, and it's all totally in logic. We could find something that means that the bow was total red herring. Not likely, but it's possible.
Now, the big question is, Unfit is... Oh, wow, that's a Red Orang and Titan's Mitts.
Still no Moon Pearl?
No, but I'm surprised that he's up into Death Mountain, as we see Paradox Cave getting checked now. Well, there's the Moon Pearl. Unfit finding it in the Paradox Cave.
I kind of had a feeling. So he's got Dark World access now with the Titan's Mitt and Moon Pearl.
So we're going to see what Calvin finds on the Armos Knights.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what is here, if anything. I kind of hope it's something, because then, it definitely means that the efforts to kill Aghanim and all of his horrible blue balls were not in vain.
Well, we'll see what happens. Oh, God, a piece of heart?
That's just mean.
Oh, that's going to throw things off. Now it looks like Unfit, out of our restreamed runners, is fairly prohibitively in the lead at this point, because I am not certain Calvin would be able to reason out where to go. Unfit finding the flippers after bomb jumping across after the Paradox Cave. So we have flippers and the Moon Pearl on Death Mountain so far.
Yeah, and with the hookshot, they're going to be able to go do the whole hookshot cave. Yeah, there's a lot that can go on. We might even get a peek at what the medallion is that they need to get into Turtle Rock. They have 2 out of the 3, so there's a strong chance it's going to be they're ready to go as soon as they get the hammer. But and Kate Samaria, of course, but we'll see.
So with Unfit giving us a map check and being nice enough to leave it on there enough that I could look at it before it pops away, the 5-6 crystals, which could be relevant for Pyramid Fairy, are Thieves' Town and Palace of Darkness. And so far we have the bow, so Palace of Darkness is logically
close.
able to be completed.
Not without the hammer.
Ah, correct. You're right.
Yeah, there's only a couple places, but and if we could get past those, we could kill a Helmasaur King with bombs. But there's just a couple of places that you need to bash things down to get past. We got some boots.
Yeah, I think they're trying to remind me that might need the boots to get into Palace of Darkness, but it looks like Unfit found them.
Yeah, I think it was on the way up here in Super Bunny Cave.
Well, that might be your unique item in the Super Bunny Cave, then.
That's correct. That's a good find. Now,
And
what
it
is the
looks like
medallion?
a book as well. So, Bombos is the medallion for Turtle Rock. So, finding that ether early on, like I had, sort of ventured a guess on it being either really useful or just really not useful. Unfortunately, it is the latter.
That is a little bit of a shame, but sometimes you just need to pick up stuff you don't need.
Yes, well, when we're only looking to get into 3 dungeons, that's certainly very likely. Because we need the Bombos, which Yulo Ninja and Unfit have. Yulo Ninja looks to be trying to participate in the Zora investment program.
He hasn't found the flippers yet, so he's got to take the long way around here. I'm gonna see maybe if he gets a reasonable return on investment, or if it all turns out to be, just a PSA for not gambling.
Well, looks like 1-800-GAMBLER for Yulo Ninja. Get that hotline ready.
Yep, 480 rupees later. It's just not worth it.
Now, I'm not sure about the jurisdictional boundaries of Hyrulean culture, but that certainly looked like a Ponzi scheme to me.
Yeah, could this game come under fire for having, loot box elements in certain countries? I don't know.
But
Oh, we got a Master Sword sitting on the ledge by Desert Palace.
and I think, unfortunately, we're going to need to see a flute show up before Unfit would be able to get to that.
Oh, no, they should be able to just hop on down there. Unfit has a book, and I can't remember where they found it, but very useful.
The book was in the Hookshot Cave.
Aha, yes. Unfit's been on a really long journey. They've been places. All the way up to the top of Death Mountain.
Sorry, I had to mute my mic for a couple seconds there. I was coughing up a little bit, and I'm like, all right, they don't need to hear that. So.
Thank you for saving all of our ears. Anybody who's got headphones on. So I don't even think Unfit's looked at what's on the torch here. With the boots, I mean, Desert Palace is definitely a reasonable play. Yep, there's the big key. Ice Rod is in the Dark Village.
Ooh, and that's one of our Go Mode items as well for Unfit, because we will need that.
So that just means what is it
The
called?
Village of Outcasts.
Village of Outcasts. Yeah, I was like, I wanted to call it the Village of Darkness. I'm like, no, that's just what the hint was trying to call it. For some reason, I also want to call it Thieves Town because it's a town full of thieves.
Yeah, but they named that dungeon, so...
Just to confuse me, that's why.
So let's see. I think the red cane, we'll need that for Turtle Rock. And the hammer to be able to boop the pegs in to take the teleporter over toward Turtle Rock, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And we already have the fire rod. Yeah.
So I think once the hammer and... Well, the hammer's just about what we need. Well, the red cane as well. Once we figure out where those are, we'll be in at least no mode. Mm-hmm. As in, we'll know where all of the items for finishing the game will be.
And I don't know if you mentioned it already, but we need some way to get to Tower of Hera, be it the mirror or the hammer. Probably the hammer based on...
Well, we need the hammer no matter what for Turtle Rock anyway. So you would ideally hope the hammer shows up sooner rather than later instead of,
It would be nice to have the hammer before heading up that way, because then you could do both of those dungeons, one right after the other, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, very true.
So we have our first pendant for our YOLO Ninja here. Green pendant. Sahasralam might have something. I don't think we've seen a hint about that yet.
I'm not sure if the runners have actually been in there or not, but our Quake medallion on Lake Hylia Island, it looks like, as Unfit looks to be checking in on the hobo to see if he's got anything.
It's a nice day for a swim. I want to know how this hobo gets his supplies in there. Like, he's got a tent, he's got a little fire. Clearly he's living there, but like, does he have a little boat that he brings stuff in? In which case, where is it? We can't see it.
Well, you know how they always say that, like, trolls live under bridges? Mm-hmm. My best guess is, like, the hobo's kind of like the boogeyman of The Legend of Zelda. You just don't want to know what's hiding under the bridge, so everybody just leaves him alone.
Gotta keep an air of mystery.
But it looks like Calvin is gonna be in for some unfortunate bad news.
Mm-hmm.
Taking a dip, actually collecting the 20 rupees before quitting out.
And we're seeing some similar disappointment upcoming for Unfit too.
Yeah, this looks like disappointment all around for our runners, as Digidude taking the same bait that Calvin did and finishing the Armos Knights, and he's only going to get rewarded with a piece of heart and a crystal, which will not help him in any way, shape, or form.
I honestly think that... Oh no, ran out of arrows too. This is going to be a while. There we go. I honestly think...
It's 3 slashes for each arrow, I believe.
Oh, that's not horrible. For some reason I thought it was way more, and I don't know why. I've never tried to kill Armos with my sword.
Well, YOLO Ninja at least is on the right track in the Paradox Cave, and that's a Moon Pearl for him. Mm-hmm. Looks like Unfit is going to be possibly checking Skull Woods.
I mean, it's fair. It's fairly easy to get access to a few chests at the beginning and then kind of piece out of the dungeon without uh, worrying about anything other than maybe getting your stuff stolen from that plant.
So this will be kind of interesting because if you just get like Compass Burrito Big Key in the front side, then you're gonna be, almost doing the same thing that Calvin and Digidude did by going, all right, there's an item on the boss.
And I have the thing to kill the boss.
So you feel almost kind of pot committed to just, all right, I don't want to go, 3/4 of the way and just kind of get, left at the altar because the Cane of Samari is sitting on Mothula.
Left at the altar, nice. Just finding a bottle so far.
So that's one of our Skullwoods drops, but now Skullwoods could have a situation where the big key is in the big key chest. It's not necessary.
Mm-hmm. It's one thing that's interesting about this game. The fact that you don't always need the big key to progress means that it's very interesting for the randomizer because things could be in interesting places.
Well, it's entirely possible that for Skullwoods, the big key could actually be in the big key chest.
Mm-hmm. You could see that in Swamp Palace as well.
I believe so, yes.
Unfit now doing a little bit of going around in the village. No ice rod yet. Must be in Thieves Town.
Well, we've got a couple spots. We've got the chess game.
Now, does that include the not the smith, but would that include potentially the hammer pegs? Or is that kind of
It
considered the
may
outskirts of
include
town?
the hammer pegs and or the lunchbox. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I'm always confused as to whether the lunchbox counts as a light world item or a dark world item because you have to go into the light world to cash it in, but you have to pick it up in the dark world.
Well, Thieves Town looks to be a giant pile of blah so far. I mean, half magic being the item so far out of the front chests.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like Unfit gonna Death Warp.
Yeah, that's a reasonable course of action right now because you've got some other stuff you can check before you kind of commit to getting all the way through Thieves Town.
Well, you don't want to up an A at, well, I call it up an A, but save and quit. Because that would put you all the way on the other side of the map at the pyramid. The chess game being a giant nope.
Mm-hmm. Oh, getting some stuff stolen. It's a rough town. We're seeing a Dark Palace play here by Yule Ninja. Got a Cane of Burna for his trouble so far.
Oh, there we go. There it is. Ice Rod in the brewery.
There we go. So now it's the quest for the hammer.
And the red cane.
Right. Red cane and hammer.
And I don't believe we have any idea of where either of them are at present.
Yeah, there's quite a bit that can be checked, if not completed. There's a piece of heart. I don't know. I guess that means there's a piece of heart in the digging game as well as in the dig spot.
Well, it may be both, but I saw enough of the hint that it said, you had to dig up a piece of heart, basically, to paraphrase it.
We're gonna see a frog taken on a tour. That's nice.
Yeah, well, it looks like we're going to visit the Pied Piper and get rewarded with 20 rupees. So the Jeremiah World Tour is in full effect on Unfit's side of things.
We haven't seen a hype cave check yet, but I think we're going to get one.
I'm not... Yeah, I guess Unfit could head on over there in the near future. Yeah, that's exactly where he's going.
I mean, why not? Picked up his bomb a little bit too early there. I like to think that this frog is friends with all of these Dark Worlders and just saying hi to some folks.
Well, let's see, a Bloomerang. Ugh.
Oh boy, not hype at all.
-2 of 10.
Oh, I mean, the Boomerang's just like an old friend, but like, you know, who's just gonna cheer you on. They're not actually really gonna help you a whole lot.
But that's like the cave of shattered dreams. You know, hopes and dreams go to that cave to die.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're seeing an interesting route, making use of the flippers here, which you don't see a whole lot.
Well, I think without the hammer, this is the only way Unfit will be able to navigate getting over to, the lost...
Now, Unfit's going to get to pick up that bow here, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's very true. We'll see Unfit picking up the bow.
Maybe we'll see a catfish check as well.
That might be pushing it, but...
Now, the question is, can you get into the palace with a frog following you? I don't think you can, right? You have to turn him in before you can actually go into a dungeon.
He might reset if you turn him in.
Maybe. He'll either reset or he'll yell at you. Like, I don't want to go in there. It's not nice. They don't like my kind. I'm getting my wish. We're getting a catfish.
Interesting, because this is such an out-of-the-way check, but it looks like Digidude's about to find his flippers, so I think Digidude's about to get back on track here, as Unfit is about to check one of the most out-of-the-way sort of things ever.
Mm-hmm. Is it going to pay off? No.
That's a negative.
But think how thankful this Smith's going to be for this amazing tour he got.
Yeah, all the things he gets to see, these life experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of physical exercise, doing a lot of running.
I don't know. The blacksmith might not be too thrilled about that. I'm pretty sure he's, you know, being an old man myself, I can relate to this.
Well, we're going to find out what happens when you try to go into the Dark Palace with a frog following you, I think.
I don't think you can, because Kiki will just be like, nope, not interested.
Yeah, too many friends. Digidude picking up some boots. And Calvin is heading out of...
I mean, unless they change the way Kiki acts, the bullfrog should stop Kiki from joining in. Oh, he just he upgraded Jeremiah into Kiki.
Wow.
That was interesting.
I like to think he didn't even notice that there was a difference. He just, like, you know, they lost the frog and Kiki just kind of took his hand and they just kept going along.
Now, see, before, it used to be that Kiki would just be like, no, not interested. You've already got a friend. I don't like you that much. Calvin's doing some work in Thievestown. It looks like Thievestown might have an item.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what comes up here.
Ugh, bombs. Yuck.
Nothing to write home about, but you got this shiny crystal.
That is true. It's part of the 5-6 duo, so... Pyramid Fairy? Maybe? I mean, it's a stretch, but Thieves Town, not so good.
The problem is, I mean, the only way I can see that happening is if they find a hammer, but they don't find the cane. So they're trying to figure out where the cane is. So they go into Palace of Darkness and try to, finish that out and look for the cane. If it's not there, well, might as well check see if there's anything in the pyramid.
Well, that's true. I mean, right now, our go mode is 2 items, and we don't know where they are, unfortunately. And that is the hammer and the Cane of Samaria. I don't think we've seen any hints as of yet. So it's really, okay, what wild goose chase am I willing to engage upon to try to figure out where these items are?
I'm gonna call it from right now. We'll see if I'm right. I think the cane is gonna be on Helmasaur King.
But as of right now, I believe Ganon's tower is completely off the table. Just because I think we need the hammer to get into a crystal dungeon, and I believe we need the cane to be in a crystal dungeon, so they couldn't possibly be in Ganon's tower. So that rules out Ganon's tower as holding either of our go mode items.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what is in the Skull Woods here. I think we're seeing Calvin go straight for Mothula, not even checking that first chest.
Well, without the mirror, it seems like, okay, I'm just gonna go straight to the back, work my way forward.
Getting some more Dark Palace checks here by Unfit. I believe one of our runners was here before, and I don't remember much coming out of Dark Palace, so I'm not anticipating the big finds here.
Let's see. I thought we only had not Palace of Darkness, but Eastern Palace showing up. As Yulo Ninja finding the Desert Palace hint as to the location, whereabouts of the Ice Rod.
Calvin switching to his cape to try to deal with this moth. Tough to fight this moth because it doesn't take damage from its own spikes, so you have to try not to hit him into the spikes, and they're everywhere, so it's kind of a pain, especially with just a fighter sword.
Oh no, Calvin getting picked off there.
No. Well, let's check this chest then. Palette cleanser.
Yeah, Mothula could be a completely unnecessary fight if we find the 2 Skull Woods items.
Yeah, right now Calvin doesn't have any magic, so I can totally understand wanting to check this chest. Unfortunately, just a key.
So, by what I think we know of Unfit, if I'm not mistaken, being already in Skull Woods, one of the items was junk.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know what the second item is. Does that mean we deduce Mothula, or Mothula has an item?
Mothula, yeah, could either have an item or, if this is still something that can happen in Logic, big key to open the big chest and get an item. I'm not sure if that still happens. YOLO Ninja picking
Right.
up
Yeah, I forgot. Because of the big chest still being in play, Mothula could have the big key or an item. If Mothula has the big key, the second item would be in the big chest.
Mm-hmm. Our runners, a couple of them in Thieves Town right now, trying to see if there's anything inside. We've had a look at this before, and we didn't see a whole lot coming out of Thieves Town.
Well, so far the MVP of Thieves Town is half magic. Aside from that,
yeah, you don't mind
it's
finding
about,
half magic, but especially in a pedestal seed, it's not nearly as exciting as it would be if you were going to be planning on taking a big trek up Ganon's tower to fight a big boss.
But Calvin finishing Thieves Town, I believe revealed to us that Blind had
just
some kind of garbage.
I think it was a heart piece.
You might be right.
It's interesting how after a while, anything that isn't a progression item just turns into kind of just like you just register it as garbage.
Well, that's just really what it is. It's I don't want this. I don't care what it is. It's not what I want. I don't want it. But out of sight, out of mind.
Mm-hmm. Digidude getting a little bit annoyed, heading out of Thieves Town now.
Well, it looks like YOLO Ninja is gonna find his ice rod, and Digidude was very close to the ice rod, but did not pick it up. May not have gotten the hint just yet.
I thought I saw that they'd already bombed into that area. We'll see when they pull open their inventory again.
Yeah, we'll see soon enough once Digidude finds the piece of heart. Oh, actually collects it.
Why not? I know it's a bit of a time waste, but you got a lot of work to do.
Well, Unfit's gonna be in for a bit of a unpleasant surprise. He's gonna find the coal in his stocking by finishing off Blind and getting the remaining item of Thieves Town.
And we'll see if I remembered my garbage correctly. Nope. Different garbage.
Well, yep. Calvin seems to be at least on the right track, as he's able to get into Desert Palace now. So this will get him 1/3 of the way to finishing things off here. So he most certainly has everything he needs to finish this palace.
And we're seeing YOLO Ninja heading up into Thieves Town to be disappointed.
Oh, the anything but hype cave.
I like the rhyming versions, like, I don't know, like Tripe Cave.
Oh.
Maybe
there's a couple things I can come up with, but they're inappropriate for all audiences, so
That's fair. I wonder if they could implement for the hints. I was just thinking about how in the vanilla game, like, they usually start out with "Greetings, Link. I am Sahasrara. It is me," or I have it was very long-winded. Like, they've made them very short and to the point, but maybe they could use like a system that if you started relying on the hints really heavily, it would get more wordy with every hint. Like the first one's really simple, and the second one's like, "Oh, hello, Link. Yes. So if you," and then like eventually it's like, "In the beginning of time." It's like, "All right. Listen, just tell me what the hint is."
Yeah, and then it turns out like it's a green one, so you get like a complete troll hint on top of that.
Of course.
Because for those that may not know, when you hit a hint tile, if the text is green, it's pretty much going full troll face on you and going, nah, 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 nah. I'm going to tell you some complete garbage.
That's mean.
Oh,
Fun
looks
fact,
like
the people who made this game are mean.
looks like some cash is in Blind's hut, which very useful hint.
Now we're seeing Unfit take a little bit of uncharted territory here, going into Ice Palace. That's kind of nice to see. Nice to see. Oh, sorry, I didn't even mean to do that.
Groan.
I think
I
it's worse when you don't mean to.
Well, with what is being thrown toward our runners right now, I guess the logic is dictating Unfit. This is about the only thing you've got left, so
Yep, he's got all the
maybe
tools.
one of our two items are hiding in here, or something that allows, access into, another dungeon, because, fetch quests love fetch quests.
And it's kind of helpful in a way that we might not need to complete this dungeon, because I mean, obviously you need the hammer to beat it. We don't have the hammer yet, but you can do almost all of Ice Palace without the hammer.
So we have Calvin finishing off Desert Palace. Digidude looks to be going into Palace of Darkness. Yulo Ninja is about to get a piece of heart in about another 5 digs. And Unfit is our resident explorer on charting new territories for us.
Yeah, there was a hint about Misery Mire, something being fire-locked in Misery Mire, a unique item and junk of some kind, I think.
Oh, that would be absolutely disgusting if we need to go into Misery Mire.
We don't even have the flute.
No. That's why it's just like, the thought of it is just like, we have to find something that we're not even looking for to then find something we're looking for.
And then Quake could be the medallion that you need to get in, just to be annoying.
Well, that's just, rude, because then you'd need the mirror on top of that.
I mean, it's all possible. Things could happen.
Because right now, our pool of unique items that are remaining are potentially the single arrow, the silver arrows, the mushroom. We know where the Quake medallion is, so that's not in Misery Mire. The hammer, the flute, the red cane, and the mirror. So that's, let's see.
There's a flute in this chest. Oh my god! Well,
so there's one that bites the dust.
I think it's going to be in Misery Mire.
So Ice Palace, to get the big key flute, to get Misery Mire,
to get the
and
hammer,
go chase down that rabbit hole. Oh my god!
You know, I was disappointed when it was like, okay, Gannis Tower not going to happen, but I think we're going to get something similarly twisted.
Yeah, this is almost like in all dungeons, but you just don't need to beat the bosses.
I kind of like that, actually. Meanwhile, we have our first duck of the run.
Yeah, so it looks like Unfit, while I was paying attention to other runners, seems to have... I'm not even sure what I want to call it. Let's see. I've used the Mallard is empowered too much. So, the goose on the loose seems... that's too easy. Help me out here, chat. Where else can we go with this?
Bombo's to get into Misery Mire, so it's not that extra level of troll.
There we go. I like that one. The fowl is on the prowl. There we go.
Hey, nice.
I like this one. The quack is on the attack. All right. That seems good.
The duck has run amok? I don't
know. That works. It works.
Someone do one with Pelican. Go. Now I just want to think of weird sounding bird names.
Oh, let's see. Something with a toucan, perhaps?
Ooh, yeah. Well, Unfit heading into Misery Mire.
We have a question in chat. Steve Starfighter, what is the best RNG you can get? It scrolled off, but let me finish the question. You can get in this mode. That helps you the most. I would think figuring out what the pendants were and getting the items to finish those dungeons, because that's really all you need to do, because once you pull the pedestal, you would win.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what would be... Oh, that's a nice early big key for Unfit. Still going to be doing a bit of searching around in Misery Mire despite that. I think really good RNG, we have to think a little bit about what palaces require the least stuff to get into, I guess.
I mean, I would say not having to bother with the Dark World at all would be, fantastic, but...
Yeah, vanilla game, that's the best RNG.
Because that way, if you find, the bow, flute book, mirror, that would give you access to, I believe, all of the dungeons in the Light World. And if they're all pendants, GG easy.
I wonder if there's an order of getting the items that would be better than the way that you get them in the vanilla game.
That'd be tough. I wouldn't... not entirely sure about... I mean, you could go about things in a different way. Like, you're supposed to go to Eastern Palace first, but if you wanted to go to, say, Desert or Tower of Hera, instead of picking up the bow, you would get, the mirrors, something like that. I'm not sure if there's really a way to quantify that.
Did you see what Unfit just picked up in Misery Mire?
I did not.
It's the hammer.
Oh boy.
In the chest you have to fall down to and wait for the long cutscene for, of course, everyone's favorite.
Ay.
Now, probably checking out just the rest of the items in here because, still need that Cane of Samaria. Could be vanilla cane.
Well, it depends on how many items we've seen so far. If Argus has an item... Or no, excuse me, Vitreous.
All will be revealed very shortly. Well, at least some will be revealed. Well, they must have counted their items because they are piecing out.
So let's see. Off to Turtle Rock we go?
Yeah, either that
For
or
unfit at this point.
maybe Tower of Hera first, depending on how sadistic you think the game is going to be. I might do a Tower of Hera first just because it's fairly fast, and if it just happens to have the cane of I guess, well, we don't have the cane, so we can't really get into Turtle Rock unless you can really good hover.
Oh, that's true. We have hover strats available.
I don't know if anybody can do that long hover at the beginning of Turtle. Like yeah, that would be a long way to go.
I have seen it, but it was definitely in a tournament race.
Well, that's the time to pull out all the stops. Yeah, TGH did it apparently as per chat. Thank you, chat. That doesn't surprise me somehow.
We're gonna get a ether medallion check here, and that is a sword.
I mean, that's not bad, especially when you're gonna go into this stupid Moldorm fight. Doesn't hurt to have a tempered sword, but I'm sure they would have preferred the Cane of Samaria, traded out for one kind of reddish item for another.
Yeah, very true. But now we get to see some interesting. There's a lot of outliers where the cane could be. Since we have the hammer, that puts Helmasaur King back on the menu.
I'm telling you, I called it earlier. I think it's probably going to be there.
And with the way this has been, it's kind of like a game of where in the world is Carmen Sandiego. So where in the world is where in Hyrule is our Cane of Samaria?
That's part of the problem of. For some reason, Pedestal seems to really just have that the whole world is open and I need one thing within it kind of feeling, and you're like, ah.
And we see our first troll hint in unfit screen.
What was that? The boots make you go quicker or something?
Oh, I didn't. I saw the green text and I'm just like, all right, I have trained myself to not even look at it.
It'll just hurt your soul.
But Palace of Darkness and Thieves' Town are the 5/6 crystals. For those in chat who are wondering, the crystals that are starred on the trackers are the 5/6 crystals. Just like you see Desert Palace, that pendant has a star on it, which means that one specifically is the green pendant.
Well, Unfit is getting another pendant. The only runner so far to have 2 of the necessary 3, and will not have to go into the basement because the key is locked down there, so it can just stay there.
Let's see.
Oh, we're going to see the Spike Cave.
Yeah, I guess it's not a bad idea to check it. It's here.
It's in logic.
Well, so is Helmasaur King by the looks of it.
I mean, lots of stuff's in logic, but this is just convenient. Why not?
Yeah. So we have Helmasaur King into Pyramid Fairy as a potential. That heart, just a quality of life upgrade at this point for unfit.
The cane should just be that trolly green link face instead of the item. At this point.
Yeah. So true. I think we have a bit of a problem here. Digidude left Ice Palace, and I don't believe he opened the big chest.
Oh, no.
with the hammer, it looks like Unfit is going to the Hammer Peg Cave.
Yep, I mean, you know, once you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail, so...
So true. So we'll see what, it feels like it would be too easy if it was Hammer Peg Cave, but, I feel sorry for Digidude because he's, seemingly foregone the big chest here.
Yeah, it was right in the right place, like, you know, just a breath away from that hammer, just sitting in that chest, just humming gently with power.
Oh, the flute was in
Ice Palace.
yes.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's the flute to get into Misery Mire where the hammer is.
Yes, the whole long chain of logic. Now I remember my glee when I said, would it be great if the flute was in this chest, and then the chest opened and the flute was in it. I remember now. Thanks.
Because, this is just like, normally it's just the mushroom and the powder that give you the fetch quests, but no, this is a pedestal seed. Just about everything is a fetch quest.
Mm-hmm. Fetch quest the game. Oh, for 1 second I thought Unfit had the monkey following him.
No, Unfit upgraded the monkey previously.
Yeah, had to go back to the downgrade here. Okay.
So that's a negatory. That's just rupees.
After the tour he must have been disappointed about being abandoned in those dark, scary woods.
Interesting. This is going to be a magic bat check as well for Unfit.
I totally forgot about the bat. Interesting. For shame. No cane yet. The dream is alive. The Helmosaur cane dream. I mean, there was already one cane in there. The cane of Berna was in there. So it would make sense for them to be together, right?
Well, I believe the last time we did commentary, that's exactly what happened. Both of the canes were in the same building.
That's funny.
Which was the Kakariko Well, if memory serves me correctly.
Alright, Yulo Ninja about to pick up the hammer. We're seeing Unfit doing some work in Skull Woods here. Checking this annoying back chest. Just getting a shield upgrade. At least they now know where the two items were. There was a bottle in the front part, so, you know, you don't have to kill them off. You can just leave.
And it looks like Unfit is going to do exactly that. It's like, nope, found the items, not what I want.
We saw a hint earlier, too, saying that above the pose there was, I think, a piece of heart or something that registered to me as previously discussed as garbage. So I think that means the graveyard ledge is out of the question, which makes sense. We haven't found a mirror yet, so...
Oh, and it looks like Unfit is going for it all the way. Looks like he's going to try his hand at being a Uber Eats delivery driver, but
this guy is hungry, and we'll see if he's got a good paying wage for his services.
Now, Yulo Ninja looks to be on the right track, given what we know from Unfit's side of things. It looks like he's going to go into the Palace of Darkness.
I think I just have this feeling that that's going to be the play.
And with hammer in hand at this point, he may go all the way. And it looks like Unfit's close behind at this point.
That's good. That's a good move.
The lunchbox, I believe it was 3 bombs, so... bleh.
Not a good review, I don't think, that he's going to be getting.
Well, not everybody's a 5-star driver.
It's true. Yeah, Yola Ninja has covered a lot of this territory already, just heading straight back. Kill his Helmosaur, see if he's got anything interesting. Meanwhile, Digidude's going for a swim and now a nice little stroll.
Yeah, it looks like Calvin might be a little confused as to what's going on, because he's spending a good bit of time in the menu right now. Looks like he's trying to piece together, all right, what did I overlook? Potentially, okay, I have the powder if I go to the magic bat, perhaps?
Without the mirror, need the hammer to do that.
Minor details, which unfortunately might be exactly why Calvin is spending a good bit of time trying to reason this all out.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, you want to go fast, you want to be moving all the time, but sometimes, especially when you're really just kind of a little bit lost, it really doesn't hurt to sit there. Just take 30 seconds and go, I'm going to spend this time getting my head straight. And that could save you a lot of, like, random running around later on.
Oh, very true. Now we get to see if your hopes and dreams are going to come through as Yulo Ninja is taking on the Helmosaur.
Got the mask off. Just a couple more hits, and this fellow will be exploding. I'm excited to see what this is. Unfit, not far behind. Ah.
Oh, just bombs.
That's
wow. Rip.
Well. So, where do we go next? If Helmosaur has bombs, what is next?
Swamp Palace? At least the beginning of it?
Well, we can't we don't have a mirror. We can't get into Swamp Palace.
Oh, that's true. So that's out. Pyramid Fairy's the only thing that opens up at this point.
Oh, it could be Pyramid Fairy too. That would be like the second layer of, you know, you need the same things to accomplish the goal. It just takes an extra 2 minutes to actually get your reward. So we'll see.
And it looks like chat's bringing up the Bombos tablet, but I believe that's out in the same way that the mirror blocks that off as well.
Bombos tablet, that's not the one up on Death Mountain. That's Ether's
no,
on Death Mountain,
that's
right?
Ether. We've seen that, and it was a sword upgrade.
Yeah, that's right. Bombos does require a mirror. Mirror sneakily locks off a bunch of little things. Yeah, Unfit still right behind Yola Ninja, doing the exact same thing, hoping, praying, fingers crossed.
Well, I can't think of what could possibly be next on the menu if this particular play strikes out. But
do we know for sure they found all the items in Misery Mire? Is it possible Vitreous has something?
Well, there's the mirror.
Oh no, that opens up a bunch of spots. That opens up Swamp Palace.
Vitreous, I believe, is actually locked behind the cane.
That's correct. All right, well, that's kind of good.
Argus is also locked off at this point.
Yellow Ninja picking up a potion. Not a bad use of your time when you've got the ability to fly right in and purchase one and lose less than 30 seconds. But that may have allowed Unfit to kind of pull ahead a little bit here. They seem to be fairly neck and neck.
Well, it looks like Yulo Ninja at this point is, taking the next fetch quest item, which is the mirror, and going, all right, well, what dungeon can I complete with this?
Mm-hmm.
And that would be Swamp Palace at this point.
Yeah, but now maybe they're going to check some of those other things that Unfit has headed into, like the meadow.
Potentially Cave 45 and Checkerboard Cave for Yulo Ninja and Unfit at this point.
And they can also now, as we were just discussing, they can check that tablet to see if the Bombos tablet has anything interesting.
And it looks like that's exactly what Unfit might be headed over toward.
Yep, now they've switched places just barely. Unfit now slightly ahead, Yulo Ninja right behind, heading on the exact same trek.
Yeah, we'll see if... Oh, that's a riot shield, so the Bombos tablet, the easy checks are out of the way, and
It
both,
all comes down to Swamp Palace.
Well, at this point, yeah, it's Swamp Palace into... What could possibly extend our fetch quest line any further at this point? The mushroom?
Yeah, theoretically.
So the mushroom could send us back to the witch's hut. And the witch's hut has the cane? Like, is that, like, the only way we can extend this any further?
I think that is. Now, Yulo Ninja checked the hint. It was a green hint. I didn't quite catch it, but,
Yeah, I saw that it was green, and I'm just like, no, I'm not even gonna... Just, no, it's green. I don't see it.
Oh, it said Dig Dog or something. It was one of the hints from the original game. Dig Dogger hates smoke or something.
Wasn't it like bombs, or if it's Zelda 1? Was this...
Dig Dogger hates certain kinds of sound, right? The one where you... Well, wasn't that Pole's voice? That I don't know. Whatever. Different game.
Yeah. Well, this game right now is basically coming down to Yulo Ninja and Unfit trying to find their way through Swamp Palace, as they know right now there's a very small amount of places remaining that they could check at this point.
Mm-hmm. We have a big key already, so we can get into the big chest right away, which is kind of nice. And that's not usually something that you get early in Swamp Palace.
Oh, and it just leads to a burrito so far, so that's definitely not it. It looks like Digidude's going back to Thieves Town. So, a blind fight, perhaps, for Digidude?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Digidude, unfortunately, I believe it was Digidude who had dipped into Ice Palace and then left before getting the hammer. That could be a real problem.
The flute.
Or, yeah, sorry. Why do I keep thinking it was the hammer in there?
It leads to the flute in Misery Mire.
Yeah,
And
it was the
you
hammer
know,
by way of the flute.
you're just going right to the last page of the book and not reading the whole story.
I just, what can I say? The hammer is, once you see the hammer, everything turns into a nail that you want to hit with the hammer.
Well, yeah, very true. But unfortunately for Calvin and Digidude, it's these small little places that are just slightly out of the way that are not going to, help them out because they've, well, in one way, shape, or form, left items behind, which I believe Digidude leaving the flute behind in Ice Palace, and it's going to be a long time before he ends up going there.
Yeah.
And it looks like we found silvers on Unfit's side.
Yep, silvers, and we've got two different approaches to Swamp Palace here. We have Yulo Ninja doing left side first, and we have Unfit going straight to the back. So Unfit's got some silvers, but is going to be fighting a boss, and Yulo Ninja has done a whole bunch of legwork. We'll see if it paid off to do that first instead.
So it depends on what Argus ends up having. If Argus has the cane, then, rip Yulo Ninja. But if Yulo Ninja finds... Well, oh boy, Unfit found a compass, so Yulo Ninja found the cane, left side swamp.
Well, there you go. That was the gamble. Left side pays off. Sometimes feels like it never does. Today it did.
So Yulo Ninja definitely has the inside track at this point, as he will be able to enter Turtle Rock. For what should have been a fairly simple seed, we're hitting go mode at 1 hour and just short of 26 minutes, as Yulo Ninja is already making his way over to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's nice to have everything you need going into Turtle Rock, because go moding Turtle Rock feels a lot better than having to kind of spend all your time doing all the checks. And if you play your cards right, you might be able to avoid doing the laser bridge altogether, which would be good.
Well, I think that depends on if you find 2 keys beforehand.
Mm-hmm. You have a chance of heading down. Basically, if there's an item in what would normally be I believe, the big key location, you can, instead of spending the key that you get to go out and check that, you can just kind of piece out of it as long as you've already got the big key, and then you've got an extra key. But that all the cards have to be in exactly the right places, basically.
Now, the one thing left that we need to consider is Yulo Ninja has to finish Tower of Hera as well, whereas Unfit, once he picks up his cane, is straight to Turtle Rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a sizable opportunity to make that work out well. Surprised to see Yulo Ninja going up to the floating island there.
Well, it resulted in him getting a tempered sword, so maybe he believed he wanted that.
It does make Trinex a lot easier, so, that's fair.
It'll put him on even footing, and with a slight advantage over Unfit, who has now found his cane, at 128, let's call it 128.45 for... So if Unfit goes out of his way like Yulo Ninja did, that'll give him a butter sword.
I somehow doubt we're going to see that. Butter sword doesn't make as huge... It's a much bigger upgrade to go from master to tempered than it is from tempered to butter.
Oh, absolutely. I think Unfit's going straight to Turtle Rock, and I'm not sure if he opened it already or not, but I can't see him doing anything aside from I'm in go mode, go to Turtle Rock, and get this done.
Mm-hmm. Our first item in Turtle Rock on the left side, nothing interesting, just a few rupees. Yolo Ninja's going to be hoping to get a big key in this next room here. Are they guaranteed? They're not guaranteed to get that big key here.
I think this is a key.
A mushroom. Very nice.
Oh, if only you could have shown up in Swamp Palace instead.
The cane was with the witches all along.
Oh, well, they let you have their spare. I mean, it's something. But it looks like Calvin is starting to get back on the right track, as he should be on his way to pick up the flute, which will then grant him access into Misery Mire. Digidude is all over the place at the Catfish at this point. He needs to be where Calvin presently is. The problem with Digidude is he was already in Ice Palace.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to get to the big key.
Yeah, he's having a little think now.
Yeah, it's one of those, what did I miss? And if he is able to correctly deduce that it was the big key chest in Ice Palace, then Digidude will be back on the right track.
Mm-hmm. And the big key is in the vanilla big key spot in Turtle Rock, so makes it less, we're going to have to do a little bit more work to get that key, possibly. There's still a possibility that we'll get that extra key, but I think it's fairly slim.
Well, we'll see at this point. If Laser Bridge comes into play, it adds a little bit of extra complexity. Yulo Ninja on the red shield, I believe Unfit having the mirror shield gives Unfit a slight advantage, as he'll be able to block the lasers from the Laser Bridge, whereas Yulo Ninja will not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody skipping Mimic Cave. We did get a hint about Mimic Cave earlier today, that it was not going to be a place we needed to spend any time on, which is, it's nice to know. Although at this point, everybody being in go mode, unless it's going to give us a possibility of getting more progression through this dungeon, we're not going to be looking at it.
No, not at all. And Unfit picking up the key, big key, excuse me.
Yeah, that piece of heart that Yulo Ninja picked up was the last potential spot you might have found a little key that would let you skip the mirror bridge, but it was not going to happen today, so that's fine.
Yeah, so this means we have a little bit of a disadvantage at this point for Yulo Ninja, because Unfit will be able to handle the Laser Bridge with no problem whatsoever. Yulo Ninja, we'll see what happens, but that's the door in question that Yulo Ninja now needs to, well, that went quickly.
Very nice. That's exactly where you want to find that key. First chest, no muss, no fuss. Let's get on with this.
So now it will come down to how much of an advantage Yulo Ninja will have in finishing off Trinex, so that he can detour off to Tower of Hera before Unfit simply just makes his way over to the pedestal to finish the seed.
I'm seeing something on the left side of the screen that I like, which is both Calvin and Digidude making their way through Ice Palace, which means they're on the right track.
Yeah, this is Digidude was able to figure it out that he is missing an item in Ice Palace, and unfortunately it's a big one, as it will be the flute which unlocks Misery Mire, which then begins the story of unlocking the next item in the progression chain.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I believe, the hammer, which then unlocks...
It unlocks Dark Palace, which unlocks the Pyramid Fairy, which has the mirror.
Which unlocks Swamp Palace.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good chain of events.
Which, in Swamp Palace, then we find the Red Cane.
Mm-hmm.
So, in total, yuck, ew.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best way to describe this.
Yep. But Yulo Ninja has got all 3 pendants now, I believe. Oh, no, he's heading
No,
into...
he's off to Tower of Hera.
Now, this is where it's going to be... It's going to come down to some timing, because Unfit's wrapping up Turtle Rock here. Now, we know that that Yulo Ninja doesn't have to do the bottom of Hera, which is the most time-consuming part of Tower of Hera. So,
Correct.
this is going to be a bit tense.
He will not need to do the coffee break, but at this point, with Unfit finishing off Turtle Rock, this is basically just use the mirror, use the flute, win. Those are basically Unfit's final 3 steps to this. Unfortunately, Yulo Ninja still has to finish off Tower of Hera, and as we see, Yulo Ninja has executed step 1 correctly and step 2. So now he'll drop himself off and just take a nice little jaunt to the pedestal to win.
Yeah, barring any hilarious mishaps. We don't want any mishaps.
No. So, aside from like a flute malfunction, that would be about the only way Unfit would have been able to really blow this one at this point.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, getting a little lost in the Lost Woods though. Getting some stuff stolen.
So this will do it for Unfit. It looks like the first of our restreamed runners, as pulling the pedestal will warp him into the Triforce room, and he will be able to declare victory as Yulo Ninja, hot on his heels, getting the final pendant to pull the pedestal. It looks like Unfit was 5th overall out of the entire daily race, with a time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, 28 seconds. Wayne, our first place overall finisher, 1 hour, 33 minutes, 53 seconds. Mr. Paws, second place, 1 hour, 36 and 41 seconds. Zelgadissin, our third place finisher, 136 and 56 seconds. Fatboy Bull 300, our fourth place finisher, 137.14. So Unfit just missing 4th place.
Yeah, that was a pretty tight group from 2nd to 5th place there. Only finishing within about a minute and a few seconds of each other. And Yulo Ninja finishing it off as well with an official time of 1:38:44.
That will put him in 6th place. Sounds like our intruder alarm went off. I believe Unfit joining us here. Oh, looks like he's not quite ready, but we'll see. Once he's ready, just jump right on in. Might want to take a little bit of a break after running for an hour and a half.
That's fair. Now we're seeing on the left side of our screen Calvin and Digidude going through the rest of the what would you call this? Like a heck chain?
It's just, the series of fetch quests. It's like, what? I was never good at these games when I was a kid, where it's like, go here to find the next clue, to find the next location. It reminds me of like those Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego games, where you found the henchman, and he'll give you the clue as to where the next henchman is along the line.
I liked those games, but I distinctly remember not playing them until I had the internet, like, as like a younger adult, and definitely cheating by looking up online, what the various clues meant.
Oh, if only I could have done that when I was a kid. I mean, the 80s were still a thing when I was a kid playing these games. If that, gives you any level of perspective.
Dude was getting a bit frustrated there, got knocked into that pit and decided to take out their frustrations on all those little blobs.
Well, it looks like Calvin is on his way into the cutscene, so this should reward him with his item from Misery Mire.
That hint about the graveyard ledge did wind up being a little bit useful, just because once they got the mirror, I can see that being the type of thing that they're like, oh, okay, I gotta route that in. But at least, I don't have to go there. Most of my stuff that I want to check is in South Hyrule.
Yeah, now it looks like Calvin trying to reason out what the next play is, and it's really just getting out of here.
Yeah, I can understand kind of thinking, well, wait, there's some more chests. Is there another item that might be in here? Is that item the cane? If, can't be on the boss, as we discussed earlier, but, maybe I'll just check these last few chests. But we know there has to be a small key in the big chest so that you can get access to the boss. But of course, we can't actually fight him.
All right, so Calvin figures it out that he's no longer required to be in Misery Mire at this point. So now he's got to go, all right, what did the hammer open up for me?
And I can see, let's get Tower of Hera. We can finish it. We know we can finish it. Why not just go and get that done? It makes total sense to me. Getting trolled by the dead rocks, though.
Yeah, never a fun thing. These dead rocks can just absolutely troll you into oblivion if you let them give them a chance to be in the wrong spot at the wrong time, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Yeah, it looks like
it's
not
interesting.
Sure what Calvin's going for at this point. Tower of Hera, perhaps?
Yeah, definitely Tower of Hera. Because, you can finish it. You can get it done. It's a pendant.
Oh, so that makes sense.
Why not go do it? It's you're making progress. And you hope that the Cane of Samaria is in here.
Well, we know that's a negatory, but
indeed,
at least Calvin will be able to get his tempered sword at this point. As Digidude will find his hammer once he opens his chest. There we go. Digidude picking up his hammer. So a little bit of exploration on Digidude's side, which should allow him to deduce that there are no more useful items here, and it's time to move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think maybe just because they're so deep into the seed now, and they've been trolled so hard by different things, just you start to decide that even though you're pretty sure that you've counted your items correctly, you're just going to open everything. You're going to open all the chests. Why not? I'm here.
Yeah, I think that's very true. With one item remaining, I think Digidude will open this big chest, go, all right, that's a key. Oh no, he's going to continue onward.
He's going to bump up against a brick wall pretty soon here, though. Maybe having forgotten. I have done this 100%. I can confirm that I've done that. Wait, realizing.
Yeah, there it is.
Mhm.
Digidude realizing, nope.
Now,
Princess is in another castle.
Hope that they go into Dark Palace. Oh, no, they're going the same route as Calvin, getting up to Tower of Hera. Speaking of...
Tower of Hera is going to give them their second pendant, but if we're going the story mode of trying to go through all of the little breadcrumbs to finally find the cane, they will need to find themselves in the Palace of Darkness next. Which will not give them anything directly relevant aside from the other 5-6 crystal.
Mm-hmm. Yep, layers. Stuff is just buried under layers and layers of fetch quest, essentially.
Yeah, the breadcrumb trail for this one is massive.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Calvin should be able to finish this in 2 shots, and there we go.
Looking good. Now we just have to see where they decide to go next.
Well, Calvin, it looks like he's going to head back into the basement.
I don't think he can get in. He doesn't have the small key. Which is good.
That's true. I think Calvin reasons this out after taking a little bit to think, and he goes, all right, I can't continue on. Tower of Hera is dead to me now.
Mm-hmm.
What's my next play?
Spike Cave, of course.
So with Spike Cave being right there, off we go.
Not going to find too much of value here, unfortunately.
No. Unfortunately, Calvin will find a heart. I couldn't remember it was a whole heart or a piece of heart, so a little bit of a refresher there from Calvin. Digidude probably going to find the same. Oh no. Digidude hookshotting across at the wrong time and getting knocked away from the big chest.
Yeah, that's just one of the many trolls of Tower of Hera. Luckily, getting it done the second time and using the boots to bonk their way back to safety. Calvin up in the Village of Outcasts area here. Gonna do some hammer pegs, I anticipate, and...
Well, with the hammer, it opens up options. and you're going to want to try to get the easy ones out of the way. And it looks like Calvin's trying to hammer dash, and it looks like he's able to pull it off pretty well here.
Yeah, I gotta be standing back just far enough so you don't start pushing on the peg. I like these skeletal chickens.
So another heart going to Calvin. I believe that's 15 now.
Yeah, why not pick it up? You did all that work. You earned it. Digidude getting trolled by Moldorm. The big troll, the 2-floor drop.
Oh. Yeah, this is the unfortunate walk of shame for Digidude. Getting knocked through that middle hole, forcing him down not only once, but twice. Calvin, let's see. No, other way.
Yeah.
Ice Palace again.
They're thinking that they missed something.
No, you got the flute out of Ice Palace. No need to go back in there.
Oh, but now they have the hammer that can finish Ice Palace. They're thinking that there's another item in here and that it's on Cold Stare.
Oh no.
That's I can't blame them for thinking of that. It makes almost as much sense as going to Helmasaur King.
True.
Locked behind the hammer.
Yeah.
Just knowing what we know, you hate to see it because, Ice Palace is so mean. Digidude, meanwhile, having some trouble with the dead rocks.
Yeah, the dead rocks jumping in the way just to be like, look at me, I'm here, I'm important. And Calvin missing the bomb to hit the switch at the same time as bomb the floor away.
Just missing the double kill on the Stalfos.
So Digidude looks to be opening Turtle Rock, but
not going to be able to do much unless they can do a good long hover.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's not standing on the symbol, so I'm not sure if this will register or not. Oh, there we go. The second one worked. As Calvin executes the bomb jump across the peg and...
Forgot to hit the switch, though. There we go.
Yeah, getting a little bit ahead of himself.
I mean...
Digidude, I guess, checking the hint and then going, no.
Yeah, Ice Palace is... It's a palace that takes a while to get through, even if you've already cleared it. It's it's not a straight shot. Oh, had a minute, couldn't quite decide what way to go there.
Well, I think he was just trying to get out of the way of
the Spike friend.
Yeah.
Definitely their real name.
Digidude doing the Spike Cave and striking out as similarly as Calvin has.
Can't blame them for trying. I mean, it's right there once you finish Tower of Hera. It's like, well, I've got all the things. At this point, everything would make sense.
Well, let's see. We've got ourselves a couple more finishers, and I think I'm going to read them off right now while we have a little bit of a lull.
Yeah, sounds good.
Hydropower 78, our 7th place finisher, 1 hour 42 minutes 40 seconds. Aevon, our 8th place finisher, 1 hour 45 and 4 seconds. Dark Kobold, our 9th place finisher, 1 hour 45 and 40 seconds. Fear Agent, our 10th place finisher, 1 hour 45 and 55 seconds. Ravis 10, our 11th place finisher, 1 hour 46 and 50 seconds. And let's see, AK Drizzt, our 12th place finisher, 1 hour 51 and 32 seconds. Frostbite 3030, our 13th place finisher, 1 hour 52 and 15 seconds. Signums, our 14th place finisher, 1 hour 54 and 40 seconds. So that just about brings us up to speed. Looks like...
Now, Calvin has left Ice Palace before getting to Cold Stare. They may have checked the item count and realized that they didn't, in fact, miss any chests and were, just going to fight Cold Stare for a key or something. So, time to get out of there.
Yeah, well, if it's a key, you would still fight them for that. I don't think a boss could have a key on them. It would be a burrito or a compass.
I remember they used to get a key on Cold Stare sometimes, because there's like a weird extra key to get into that side door. It's possible that's not a thing anymore, but either way, they've decided to take the correct action here.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Maybe?
But hopefully we're going to see Calvin just go right through and kill Helmasaur King and get that bomb and start getting some progression.
Yeah. If Calvin did see the locked door along the way and went to Cold Stare and goes, okay, there's one item left on Cold Stare, I can now correctly deduce that it's the key to get past this door, which will lead to nowhere. Because, as chat has put out, it expects you to have the red cane if it has the key on Cold Stare.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which, well, we don't have the cane. Not the red one, at least.
Nope, we got that blue one. It's not gonna do what they need to do to be able to finish Turtle Rock. Because being invincible does not save you from falling into pits. Digidude taking the route into Dark Palace as well, which is good. I'm trying to think if there's anywhere Calvin could go other than to get the pink bomb. Hopefully not. Hopefully that's just going to be the most obvious thing.
No, because he'd need the mirror to go into Swamp, and the pink bomb at the Pyramid Fairy is what's going to get him that mirror.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he could go Misery Mire? But without the cane, I don't think he's going to get very far.
I think he might have pretty much cleared all of Misery Mire that's possible to clear. Hopefully knows that there's no point in going back there.
So Calvin will finish off Helmasaur King with Digidude close behind. So we'll see, Calvin probably expecting an item there. But the item is unfortunately hidden behind Palace of Darkness. The progression item, I should say, is hidden behind the fact that the Palace of Darkness crystal is the 5-6 crystal, which now opens up the Pyramid Fairy.
Well, as Calvin finishes up here and Digidude is making his way in to kill the Helmasaur King, we do have a couple people waiting in our waiting room if we wanted to have a chat about the race that they have very performed very well on so far. If we want to bring them in.
Oh, they can jump in whenever they like. Just have to drag themselves up. I wasn't sure if Yulo Ninja was in there, but he had his mic muted, so.
Yeah, I see Unfit hanging out in there too, so hopefully we'll have them pop up and join us shortly. Calvin making the correct action here, going for the big pink bomb. Probably knows in his bones there's got to be something. There has to be something here. Hoping it's the cane. Gonna be a little disappointed to see that mirror, I think. And we are now joined by Unfit and by Yulo Ninja, who have completed the seed and pretty close to one another from the times that we see on screen, at least. Anyway,
Yeah,
GG to both of you.
Hey, GG.
GG.
Yeah, well done. So, an easy day at the office for this one, huh?
That was fun.
Well, it was kind of fun until I decided to gamble on literally everything.
It's almost what you had to do.
Well, each dungeon basically had a breadcrumb hiding in it aside from Skull Woods, in the way of finding a particular item that you needed to unlock the next one to finally be able to get into and complete Turtle Rock.
TT didn't have anything either. It just had the hint about a unique item in Ice Palace.
You needed the crystal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Thieves Town had the 5-6 crystal,
These
as
sound
well
like
as
good.
Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, Eastern Palace, I think, didn't have anything.
These sound
it
would
had
have been
nothing.
good. If I got that hint, I would have booked it to Ice Palace pretty quick. I definitely do that before Pod.
I did Pod first.
Yeah, Pod first is a logical play. Unless you have that hint. My opinion. I completely screwed up the routing in Pod, by the way. Or Ice Palace, rather.
I also did the same.
Oh no.
Off on the spike floor and go back in.
Oh, Calvin was in Misery Mire area checking Checkerboard Cave, finding that to be the remaining 300 rupee drop. And it looks like Calvin's on the right track to finally head into Swamp Palace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you folks were really neck and neck going into Swamp Palace. It wound up kind of coming down to one of you went left side and one of you went straight back. And turned out this time left side was the correct gamble to take.
That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, unfortunately for you, Yulo Ninja, you gambled correctly in Swamp, but I guess that minor little oversight of Tower of Hera coming back to bite you, as Unfit had previously finished it.
Well, I'd also done everything else, so Terror until I had everything to do Turtle Rock and Terror at the same time.
Ah, okay.
You
It
don't really
definitely
lose
makes
that.
sense since they're almost as right next to each other as you can get aside from Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness.
They're probably like only 20 seconds apart.
It definitely in a typical seed where you're gonna go kill Ganon definitely is nice to have them lined up together. But in this sense, it was good. They didn't have to climb Death Mountain twice, I guess. But you know, if sometimes you just want to go where there's progression. So I can't blame you for wanting to go do Tower of Hair as soon as it became a possibility.
I climbed the mountain too much. I don't want to speak about climbing the mountain.
You lose a ton of time climbing the mountain.
Yeah, I saved and quitted after getting the Moon Pearl instead of doing Dark Death Mountain. Lost time there.
That's not good.
Yeah, would have gotten the boots.
Well, I
So on
went
the
right back soon.
Oh, well, at the end of the day, I believe the both of you were close to the top 5. Unfit, you were 5th, and I believe Yulo, you were 6th. So, how do you feel about where you finished relative to everybody else with this seed?
Hard to say without watching everybody else's streams.
Well, right now, I mean, we've got finishers that are, about the 150, little over 150. There was a nice clump of runners, about 5 of them.
Like 2 through 5 were like
145.
2 through
and
5 were like within like 35 seconds of each other, I think. 36, 37, something like that.
Yeah, there was a big clump, and then there was about 3 minutes between the first person to finish and then that clump of people.
Yeah, I think it was 136.41 compared to Unfit being about 40 seconds behind at 137.48. So, yeah, about 45 seconds between 2nd to 5th. So, one little decision that was.
Yeah, that's why I remember that Ice Palace mishap. I would have been 2nd. Gotta get my SRL points.
I don't want to speak about mishaps. I could have been 1st by 5 minutes at least. So I had.
Usually when I think of mishaps, I think of execution errors that I would normally not make and routing errors that I would normally not make.
I had all of the routing errors.
Oof.
Well, if there were one, Yulo, give us the one big routing error that sank your battleship, so to say. If there was one that really sticks out as, in hindsight, why did I do this?
It would probably to the Ice Palace death instead of going to the big chest, because and I can still get to need to, or it after Moon Pearl instead of going to Dark Death Mountain.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did you just try to death warp yourself back to the beginning of Ice Palace to get out of there?
Oh no, I had death warp to go back in to check the big chest because I hadn't gotten a unique item yet.
And that was after the hint telling
Yeah, that
you
was
that there was a unique item in Ice Palace.
Yep.
Oh boy.
So, that was chunk of time.
I almost left Ice Palace because I thought it's gonna be a key in the big chest, right? But I remember there was a key in the pot.
Well, I
Right
think
of
it
that
was
one room.
a key on Cold Stare. And that's about the only item I think Cold Stare could have at this point.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, alright. Calvin on the right track. It looks like he has his red cane and is ready to head up toward Turtle Rock to finish this off.
He made the right play of doing the left side swamp first, was rewarded with that red cane. Unfortunately, Digidude is going in and is going straight to the back first, which, I mean, that's what I would do. So I understand, but it's going to wind up being frustrating, I think, for them in the long run.
And we're seeing it all over again. Calvin, just like Yulo Ninja, going left side, and Digidude, just like Unfit, going straight to the boss. Now, Unfit, if you're still around, or actually either one of you, what makes you go either left side or straight to the boss in Swamp? Is it just kind of flip a coin and hope
It's
it
more or
comes
less
up
flip a
heads?
coin. It's pretty much flip a coin, so I figure if it's in any of the sunken chests or that chest before the waterfall, you're better off going that way. I think it's that way is better. And since I'm that close to Argus anyways, I just kill him. I think going left side first is viable. Perfectly viable.
I go left side first if this in the first chests, because I'm looking for a single item. Go back in to the left side to grab an item. So then you have to go back to the big chest again. It just takes a whole heck of a lot more time. Get a single item in left side, I'll go left side.
Well, let's see. Calvin picking up the Butter Sword on his way to Turtle Rock. Digidude picking up the Silvers on his way to fighting Argus.
Gonna use him to kill Argus.
Yeah, hopefully it should take him out in one shot.
And now we've got the arrow minigame.
Digidude deciding to whack him with a pointy object instead.
His hitbox is so weird when he's bouncing around. I don't blame him.
I missed him like 5 times.
I
I haven't done that in a while. It's one of those rando things you don't do in no major glitches speedrun.
Yeah, and of course it's going to happen when you're being restreamed, right?
That seems to happen every time.
Oh no.
Since I stopped playing the game a lot, I can't remember the setup.
Well, Calvin's into Turtle Rock, and as we know, he just needs to make it to the first chest in the laser bridge to unlock the way to Trinex, as Digidude goes back in to hunt for the item he is looking for, which is the Cane of Samaria. Now, is there anything you guys would like to say before we have our other runners finish up here? Want to give them a little bit of time as well, if we can.
Can't really think of anything about the seed. But thanks to the commentators and tracker for
More pedestal seeds.
this monstrosity
this.
of a pedestal seed.
This was fun.
And it was definitely different, and
Can put you on edge a lot better than just a normal seed can.
this was a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. I'm kind of thinking, oh boy, this is going to be easy mode. They just have to finish 3 dungeons instead of 7. But oh boy, was I wrong in thinking it would be that simple.
Yeah, because it's hard to kind of even think about, but there's so many places that you could check that it winds up just making it a potential of being very complex. I think the range of different times that you would expect from pedestal seed would be much wider than from a typical kill Ganon, get all the crystals seed, right? Like, you could have one that is just like a jet and you're done in 45 minutes, which you're not likely going to see very often in a traditional randomizer. But and you could have something like this where there are runners 2 hours 16 minutes in who are still like, I don't know where my go mode item is. Probably here, hopefully.
I think you can tell a lot early based on the pendants. If Desert and Turtle Rock are pendants, you're in for a long seed, probably.
Oh, and we got both of those in this particular one. But yeah, it makes, Turtle Rock specifically, we were trying to commentator curse the run before it ever even started. I will freely admit to this, although Cataclysm may deny everything.
Nope.
We were hoping for a Turtle Rock that had a Ganon's Tower ice rod at the beginning, and once we saw the Dark World finally, we're like, oh, Turtle Rock's a pendant. Let's go gadget Ganon's Tower, but it seemed to be ruled out by where the other pendants were.
I am totally happy with the Cane of Samaria fetch quest of Doom.
Yeah, that's true. That was just about a world tour of. I think you needed to go into every dungeon aside from Skull Woods to be able to finally have access to all of the pendants.
Yeah, maybe Eastern Palace.
Well, okay, Eastern Palace as well, but yeah,
that's 9 dungeons that needed a fair amount of time put into them. Like Ice
Skull
Palace, you
Woods
need to do most of.
Yeah, it was so 8 of the 10 dungeons. Yeah, that's pretty rough. Yeah, because Eastern Palace had a whole lot of nada. And Skull Woods, as we know, had a bottle and bombs?
Shield.
Oh, okay, the shield. I know it was nothing too impressive, and both of those were found on the way to Mothula, so that ruled out Mothula having anything aside from a burrito or the compass. I'm not sure if either revealed themselves along the way.
Another interesting
or the big
thing,
key, I guess.
We had 3 of our runners kill Aghanim, and only Unfit did not. It seemed, because the bow was on the pyramid, it really was a bit of a red herring for, let's go into Eastern Palace, but didn't wind up panning out.
I always go to Aegina.
Well, Aegina worked,
That's my rule.
But what was it? It was the Dark Cross room that had something?
A glove.
And I think that's what put you ahead, Unfit. was that you picked up, at the time, I think it was the Titansmiths.
Yeah, they were over on Eastern Death Mountain. As with the Moon Pearl.
Dude, not making friends with these chain chomps.
No, they are being problematic. It looks like Digidude just going to activate the cape at this point, as Calvin finishing off the first two heads of Trinex and now on to the final body. And 2 quick swipes with a butter sword will take care of that. So this should be Calvin's third and final pendant. So the final 3 steps to victory for Calvin are use that mirror, use that flute, and pull the pedestal.
Well, Save and Quit's just going to take you to the top of the pyramid because they have the mirror. So, there we go.
So Calvin using the unnecessary step of save and quit, which does not get him any closer. So we'll see if Calvin can negotiate the Lost Woods properly, find his way up to the pedestal. Looks like he's on the right track. Alright, so let's get those GGs in the chat for Calvin, as he's pulled the pedestal, warped into the Triforce room, and is our 15th place finisher with an official SRL time, 2 hours, 21 minutes, 57 seconds.
That was a lot of work.
Very much so, yes. Let's see if jump in here with us. As it looks like Digidude is on his way through Turtle Rock at this point.
Yeah, making some good headway. Playing it safe. Just gonna get through this.
Yeah, this was definitely one of those seeds where it's just like, ugh.
A seed described by like onomatopoeia. Ugh. Fun, but weird. I mean, especially fun for us.
Well, let's see. I think I hear an intruder alarm. So I believe maybe joined by Calvin. Sounds like he's in a bit of a tornado right now, though.
I'm outside trying to do things that young kids shouldn't be doing right now. Smoking, so don't ever do that. It was pretty stressful for a ped seed.
Yes, it was. I can only imagine how much willpower it took not to just FF out of that one, because I saw you stop for a while, and I'm going, oh no.
No, so what I was doing, I put up a tracker, and I put all my locations that I knew I went to, so I can narrow down where is something. And
okay.
that's something that I missed was Spiral Cave, I guess, from when I went up Death Mountain the first time. I got so excited that I found Titansmiths, and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, let me do the dark stuff because I know there's something Super Bunny Cave. Oh, boots. All right, let's just get out of here. I didn't have mirrors, so I couldn't do Spiral Cave. So I'm like, I'll just leave that one behind.
And that was the flippers.
Exactly. So, oh man, this seed was something else. Was I the only one to do Aga 1?
No,
No,
3 of you
sir.
did.
Ooh.
That bow on the pyramid must have felt like you made the right choice, but it was really a bit of a red herring. It required eventually, but it was not the progression item that it was, lying about being.
Like when I went into Hyrule Castle, I was like, "Oh, lamp! Oh, let's go do Aga right now. We're right here. Got the cave. It read like it wanted us to do Aga, but at least from my perspective. So I guess that's why all three of us did it.
Yeah, but that was just a prank.
We fell for it.
I don't think you actually needed the bow at all.
No,
this
it was needed because we needed to get through Dark Palace.
Oh,
so
right. Yeah, Palace of Darkness. Okay. Yeah, aside from that one just about as useful as the ice rod usually is, because you only need that for Trinex.
Yep. We needed that too today. And everything was just scattered like all over the place in like the most trolliest things too. So, but because I wasn't finding nothing, but eventually everything fell into place, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well done on finally piecing it together, because it was definitely a very breadcrumbed seed this time around, because aside from Eastern Palace and I believe Skull Woods, there was one item of progression hiding in each of the other remaining crystal dungeons.
Yeah, I felt like I did everything. And I rolled that seed too.
Oh
It's your own
boy.
No, see, earlier I'm like, I did a ped seed to like familiarize myself. I mean, ain't really too much to familiarize yourself with, but I did one earlier, and I actually finished it in an hour and 10 minutes. I'm like, oh man, maybe I got some luck. Let me try again. So,
GG.
but yeah, that was it, I guess.
Yeah, well, we have Digidude, the last of our restreamed runners, finishing. Let's see, is this official SRL time? 2 hours, 27 minutes, 23 seconds, and that puts him in 16th place overall. I believe there is one more runner still at large that is not part of the restreamed runners, but part of the race as a whole.
Oh.
Yeah, Rob Draven, it looks like.
I gotta get out of here. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck going forward, Yulo.
And we have Digidude joining us. GG.
GG.
Yeah, GG, bud.
And that was a thing.
So Ice Palace.
Yeah, that I think Digi, you a little snafu in Ice Palace, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't think I was thinking straight.
So I think that was just when I saw that, I was like, oh no. How long is it going to be before he finally ends up going back in there and remembering the big chest is a thing? Oh.
That was just a wild goose chase from there, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it that just started you off on like what I've been calling the Cane of Samaria, heckin' long, just chain of events.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just, hey, go to this place and you can get your next clue as to where the Cane of Samaria is. And repeat that process about 5 different times, and you finally get rewarded with the Cane of Samaria.
Fairly early on, I called Cane of Samaria on Helmasaur King, and I never imagined. Now, I thought that was being trolly enough. I never imagined that there would be a full 2 layers, is at least 2 layers of stuff on top of that. I guess it was.
Oh, that was just the beginning.
Yeah.
Because then you had to go to the pyramid to get the mirror, which let you get into Swamp, which then let you get into Misery Mire?
No, Swamp.
Or no, Swamp was the ending destination. It was Misery Mire to then get into Swamp.
Let's see, the hammer was in Misery Mire, so it was Flute in Ice Palace to Hammer in Misery Mire, to Dark Palace, Helmasaur King dead, get the bomb, get into the pyramid, get the mirror, go into Swamp, get the cane.
And Swamp was the last place that I wanted to go to.
Of course.
Well, I think it was the last place a couple people ended up going to, but the way the seed decided to put one item in almost all of the dungeons, and it's like, all right, well, have fun.
True tour of Hyrule.
Really? It had to happen one of these days.
Yeah, very true.
That's part of what Pedestal can do. It can open stuff up.
At one point I was going, okay, what if something's in GT? But then after Skull Woods, I realized, wait, no. Hammer is needed in Pod, and Meyer need Red Cane, so...
Yeah, you were basically able to rule out Ganon's tower at least, but that didn't stop us from, positing, all right, what's the worst possible thing we could do to these runners? And we got the Pendant and Turtle Rock part right. But what we were also speculating was, like, an ice rod in Ganon's tower. Because it's not needed anywhere else. So you could have to get all of the crystals to get into Ganon's tower. And then, eventually it, ended up ruling itself out because of various reasons of what we knew we needed to finish the seed. And I think it boiled down to the hammer and the cane. And that all but ruled out Ganon's tower as being a possibility.
Right.
Is there anything else you want to talk about at this point? Because, there's nothing that's on the menu to kick us out of here right yet. But I think, we're not getting the hook, because the next thing that's coming up is not until 6, so we have a little while for...
It was an Aegis seed. Yeah. That led to the bow, which led to... which I thought was...
Well, I don't think it was an Aghanim seed at all, because the bow wasn't really needed until Palace of Darkness. I think it was the Dark Cross room to get...
the the glove so we can
the
get access
second
to
glove
Death Mountain.
upgrade was what the game wanted you to do, and it just happened to be that the unfortunate detour of going through the Ognum ended up leaving a a bit of a dead end sort of detour in your way, giving you the bow, which led to Eastern Palace and a whole lot of nothing. Because I think you needed the hammer still to get to Palace of Darkness.
Right.
Red herring bow, my favorite.
I mean, it was still needed, but not immediately. That's why I think it was not an Ognum seed, because Unfit managed to find the glove in the Dark Cross room, and I believe that gave him the Moon Pearl and the mitts.
Yeah,
He was
basically,
in
he went right up
Paradox.
to Death Mountain at that point. And that was a good
Something
play.
I didn't do.
not many of our restream runners did, so you're in the majority.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, it was definitely a rough one, but you finished, and that, especially given with how the troll dial on this one was turned to 12, it seems,
Yeah.
is an accomplishment in on its own.
It looks like we have our last runner finishing up. Rob Draven finished in 17th place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 35 minutes, and 36 seconds.
GG to that dude.
Stuck it out. Good job.
Yeah,
I think
GG's.
only 2 people forfeited it.
I was tempted to forfeit at one point.
Yeah, I think there were 19 runners, and with that mess of a seed, I figured, oh boy, we're going to have them dropping like flies off of the restreamed group, and everybody pretty much stuck it through. So again, well done on seeing that one through to the end, both of you.
Yeah, if only I didn't miss out on Spiral Cave. I think this one would have been a little bit better for me. But other than that, I think it was fun. It was still fun.
Hey,
But-
remind me again, what was Spiral Cave?
Flippers.
Ah,
I missed out on flippers to do like certain things. Like I was thinking I could have like fake flippered, but flippers were definitely required because you had to go into Ice or Swamp Palace
Swamp,
for Kane's
yeah.
Mario.
Yeah, the fake flippers led you on a wild goose chase because the whole of Zora's domain was nothing, if memory serves me correctly.
Bad return on investment.
Well, even the waterfall cage and waterfall cave, excuse me, and Zora's ledge were all nothing. Catfish was 20 more rupees.
Yeah, I think so. I did that. It was nothing. That whole area up there could have been skipped over. So, like, of course, if you were like me, like when I stopped to pull up a tracker and start like Xing out locations that I've already been to, it's a wild goose, and you ain't gonna go all the way back up to like. My thing was, I ain't gonna go all the way back up to Spiral Cave unless I find like a way to go into Hera at the moment. So
Yeah, and that wasn't going to come for quite a while yet.
yeah, so it was a forced go back up. So that Super Bunny hit that I got kind of led me on into a wrong direction for sure. But Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bounce out of here. Just wanted to say thank you to you guys for commentating, the trackers, and Speed Gaming for, putting on these wonderful races. I'm definitely having a good time, especially with this one.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Yeah, it was a bit rough, but Calvin and Digi both sticking it out through to the end. So again, props to you guys for that. And I think with that, about ready to call it a night or call it a day at this point, since that was our 2 p.m. race.
Right.
So we have another round of our 9 p.m. race. I'm not used to doing this to 2 p.m. stuff, so used to being able to close out the night. I believe our 9 p.m. is standard mode, so we'll see how that all works out. Hopefully you guys have a little better luck in that run if you so choose to do it.
I'll probably be doing it. It's standard's one of my favorite ones. It's I like to say every time I commentate that Link and Zelda are going to get married, and then Link leaves Zelda behind to go save the world. So that's one of my favorite seats.
That's my headcanon now. Good times.
Okay, that works.
But yeah, I'll be there.
All right, guys. Good luck in the 9 p.m. if you so do it. What do you think? You want to take us out this time, Cassidy, or what? What do you want to do?
Oh, I don't know. You can do it. I'll just hang out here and I'll say my goodbyes now, which are thanks everybody for watching. This was a lot of fun, and hopefully you'll join us later on this evening for the 9 p.m. standard race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I want to declare a victory for everywhere with this seed. That was a massive nightmare for our runners. Nice little breadcrumb tour of Hyrule. With that said, we already have our 9 o'clock seed determined. It's standard mode for Cataclysm. I am Frico. Have a good day, everybody.